Agent of Foxglove, Ingobnito by Lark Sabre. Read by Lark Sabre. Chapter 8. Goblin Sighting. Agent Wildflower revved the Roadster 2000 along the disused mole tunnel. She had a rampacious need for speed if the way the earthworms and plant roots were whizzing past was any guide. She drove on the left. These fairies were British after all. The mole tunnels reached underneath the entirety of Old Man Horrocks' garden, and far beyond. Not that Old Man Horrocks would notice. Old Man Horrocks didn't give a high-flying hoot about his garden. He was firmly ensconced in his private world of crisps and old game shows. So what's next? Asked Hunter, understandably apprehensive given that he had been made a fully-fledged agent of Foxglove in roughly 13 minutes. Nothing your extensive in-depth training hasn't prepared you for, Agent Hobby, replied Agent Wildflower. Some of our spotters are in the air, and if there's a sighting of any gobbers, Puckington X will patch that through to the Roadster's inbuilt walkie-talkie. We'll resurface out of the nearest molehill, and you'll don your miraculously chameleonic, or should I say goblionic, $3.99 mask and dazzle the gobbers with super spy charm until they think you're their new best bud. After that, you fish for any intel about the Mobolino crew. Comprende? Agent Wildflower, what if the goblins become mean and want to beat me up for some reason? Or bite me? Do goblins bite? Don't I need some sort of weapon just in case? Asked Hunter, beginning to worry about what he was letting himself in for. After all, goblins had a bad reputation, and so did bank robbers. And Hunter was going to snoop on goblins who were bank robbers, according to F.O.X.G.L.O.V.E. I'll be watching from the Roadster 2000, Agent Hobby. At the slightest hint of trouble, I'll use my wand to teleport you back into the safety of the car. Or I could turn you into something frightening, like one of those bully F.O.X.G.L.O.V.E dogs if you like. Though we'd have to be careful the human police didn't come and impound you because you aren't wearing a muzzle. I could conjure up a muzzle too, but then you wouldn't look very frightening, so that would defeat the point. I can't cast a spell on the Godbers if they're wearing their anti-fairy dust amulets, remember? By the way, could you budge up a bit? There's not mushroom in this car. Ha ha! Get it? Mushroom? Ha ha ha! Agent Wildflower proceeded to cackle maniacally at her own rubbish joke. Lollygagging leprechauns, mused Hunter. Even my dad would be embarrassed to crack a gag that lame. Agent Wildflower's merriment came to a well-disciplined end when a voice suddenly crackled into life from an unseen speaker somewhere on the Roadster's dashboard. Agent Wildflower, this is Puckington X. Agent Bluebell's caught sight of 3 goblins loitering in the area the humans know as Braddock's Meadow. Patching her in now, over. Roger that, Puckington X, sir. There was a hiss of static, and then a slightly out-of-breath female voice could be heard over the line, accompanied by the whistling of the wind somewhere above Braddock's Meadow. This is Agent Bluebell, Wildflower. There's 3 goblins idling about in the southeast sector of Braddock's Meadow, hiding behind a raised verge near the human road. There's a big brown one with 2 smaller accomplices, one grey-green and the other greeny-grey, over. Copy that, Bluebell. You up for sharing a thimble of nectar after work? Replied Agent Wildflower, apparently mixing business and pleasure. I'd love to, Stella, but I promised Blatchett I'd take him elf-locking tonight. Maybe tomorrow. I'll let you know. Anyway, I've got to fly back to the deep sea now to log this sighting. Good luck with those godbirds, over. Hunter listened with interest. So Agent Wildflower's first name was Stella, was it? That much he could deduce for himself, but he did have a few other questions after hearing Agent Bluebell's transmission. Agent Wildflower, what's elf-locking and what's the deep sea? I must say I applaud your curiosity, Agent Hobby. Curiosity is the lifeblood of being an undercover agent. Elf-locking is an old custom shared by fairy and elven folk, where our youngsters go out at night to ruffle humans' hair whilst they sleep. You ever woken up with bedhead hair? That's probably the work of a fairling or elfling having a lark and a jape. Wonder, that is, Agent Bluebell is taking her son Blatchett elf-locking tonight. It's a bit of an outdated custom, really, but the kids all like to do it at least once a year when they're little. I guess it's not that different to your human holidays, like Christmas or Binfire Night. And the deep sea is just our shorthand for the Damselfly City Council tree, which can be quite a mouthful over the walkie-talkies. Now, if that's your curiosity sated, we need to put the pedal to the metal and whoosh down to Braddock's Meadow before those 3 gobblers make themselves scarce. Buckle up. There didn't seem to be any seatbelts in the Roadster 2000. Agent Wildflower was just saying buckle up for effect. Perhaps fairies couldn't pull the seatbelts over their wings. Indeed, each time there was a clod of soil in the road, Agent Wildflower's wings jolted out to the sides, for the fairy had to exert herself to clench her wings in a downwardly diagonal position for long periods. Thus the tip of her left wing kept nearly poking Hunter in the eye, like a clumsy passer-by's umbrella spoke. There wasn't much room in the roadstool for real. It was no joke, though. Functional eyesight was an essential tool of the trade for an undercover agent. To be fair, it was pretty essential in general. Agent Wildflower drove even faster, and the mole tunnel went by in a brown blur. She urged Hunter to brace himself again, and the car shot up a steep, almost vertical ramp. The roadstool burst out of an abandoned molehill in Braddock's meadow. To an onlooker, it would appear as if a real toadstool had sprouted out of the molehill mound, fully formed, and in the blink of the onlooker's onlooking eye.